In May 1966, the music landscape was vibrant with groundbreaking releases and significant events that shaped the era's sound. The Beach Boys unveiled their seminal album Pet Sounds. This innovative record, featuring tracks like Wouldn't It Be Nice and God Only Knows, showcased complex arrangements and introspective lyrics, elevating pop music's artistic aspirations. Psychedelic influences emerged, signaling a shift toward introspection and experimentation, with studios becoming tools of innovation. Albums showcased groundbreaking production techniques, while soul music achieved greater emotional depth and cultural resonance. Unlike 1965's emphasis on catchy hits, 1966 was defined by a fearless challenge to musical norms, setting the stage for the countercultural revolution emerging. The Rolling Stones made a notable impact with the release of their single Paint It Black. The song's distinctive use of the sitar, played by Brian Jones, and its dark, enigmatic lyrics marked a departure from their earlier work, reflecting the era's experimentation with diverse musical influences. The Beatles were in the midst of recording sessions for their album Revolver. In May, they participated in interviews for BBC radio programs discussing their evolving musical direction and upcoming projects.
How far do you feel that your individual talents are dependent upon each other? I mean, are you sort of Gilbert and Sullivan or Rodgers and Hammerstein? Do you need to work together as composers?
No, not really, but it helps a lot.
Just on the old maxim of two minds are better than one?
Yeah.
You get another point of view as well.
The thing is, because we can do them on our own, but often one of us will just do a song and there'll be, say, one verse in it that's very bad or something, and it's very corny, and if I've written it, then I'll sort of take it along and sing it to John. And he'll say, that verse is terrible and that verse is corny. Come in, Mrs. Higgins.
Because you still get so involved with something, you finish it, and if you're on your own, you haven't got the energy to go over it and sort of see, if it really makes exactly what you want. So if you sing it over to each other, even if it's a finished song, with almost the arrangement, it's still sort of, yes, that's fine.
Your milk, John.
Thank you, Mrs. Higgins.
Oh, thank you.
It's really nice of you, that.
Mrs. Higgins arriving with 3 glasses of milk.
It's not even Mrs. Higgins either.
Oh, well.
Your way out now. She was a day tripper. One-way ticket, yeah.
Top of the Pops and Ready, Steady, Go featured performances by emerging and established acts, reflecting the dynamic music scene. The Small Faces, for instance, appeared on the BBC's Saturday Club, with Steve Marriott engaging in interviews that provided insights into the band's creative process.
Okay, an interesting scene. And now, what about your new single record? Is this one of your own compositions?
Yeah, it was written in a hotel about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and it's called?
Hey Girl. A winter's day in a deep.
As May rolls in, I Am a Rock by Simon and Garfunkel and When a Man Loves a Woman by Percy Sledge are on heavy rotation on your record player at home. On the transistor radio, the Troggs' Wild Thing is getting a lot of radio play.
On a freshly fallen silent shroud of snow, I am a rock. When a man loves a woman, you make my heart sing.
Fashion in May 1966 mirrored the music scene's eclecticism. The mod subculture remained influential, with its emphasis on sharp tailoring and bold patterns.
Thinks he is a flower to be looked at. So I wanna be a paperback writer. Paperback writer. God only knows what I'd be without you.
Leslie Gore. And here is your host for this week's Hullabaloo, Paul Anka.
Our next guest was only 16 when she had her first big hit. Since then, she's had a whole string of hits. She's been named top female vocalist by 3 national musical publications, graduation from high school, enters college, and at 19, she's become even prettier and more talented than when she started. Ladies and gentlemen, Leslie Gore.
Paul Anka hosts the final episode of Hullabaloo, which features performances by Leslie Gore, Peter and Gordon, and The Circle.
Over now, the morning sun is shining like a red rubber ball.
You see, my electric guitar never goes out of tune.
The audience was hostile from the get-go.
Oh, I love you, huh? You're so wonderful, huh?
Bob Dylan's 1966 tour of England was a pivotal and polarizing moment in music history. Having left his folk roots behind, Dylan emerged as a boundary-pushing rock star possessed by creativity, a shift that many of his earliest fans found difficult to accept.
They had an attitude about America already, that we were a bunch of fascist warmongers. They opened the second half with the biggest American flag that Bob could find in Paris, and the audience didn't get the joke at all. The audience reaction was mystifying to everybody. It was mystifying to me. I can remember, like, why doesn't everybody think this stuff is as great as I do?